Welcome, everyone, to our Funding Cultural Currency series in partnership with the Cerna Foundation. Cerna aims to foster an inclusive and equitable economy in which people of color can maximize their potential as leaders, creators, and innovators across many sectors. By investing in the development of businesses owned by people of color, and by increasing community voice in economic planning, Cerna is helping usher in a new economy defined by just and equitable economic growth. And of course, as always, I want to thank all of you guys for joining us today. Please know that you are the key to igniting conversations across the ecosystem. And for those who are not familiar by now, I'm Corey Hale, the CEO of Culture Banks, and we're going to unpack the importance of funding cultural currency using artificial intelligence and mental health. So with that in mind, let's jump right into our conscious conversation around funding cultural currency. I've got some dope panelists for you all today that include Hafeezah Muhammad. She is the founder and CEO of Backpack Healthcare, an AI-driven mental health platform for children. Hafeezah is a mompreneur, passionate about leveraging technology to address critical societal issues. Her visionary leadership has catapulted her company to the forefront of the industry, setting new standards and paving the way for a more accessible and inclusive approach to mental wellness. Also, we have investor Khadijah Robinson, who is a general partner at Fictive Ventures. Khadijah has led an impressive career, folks, as a lawyer, entrepreneur, investor, and innovator in her years working in the legal and tech industries. Back in 2019, just in case you're looking at her and say, I think she's kind of familiar. I may have seen her on a couple things, but you would be right. Because in 2019, she started the Nile List, which is an online discovery platform for Black-owned e-commerce brands. And in 2021, the Nile List was acquired by Combs Enterprises and Empower Global. Also, Khadijah serves as the Chief Operating Officer for the Majira Project, which is a business accelerator backed by Boston Consulting Group for underrepresented founders. Thank you, Khadijah. Thank you, Hafeezah, for joining us and being a part of this conversation today. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And with that, Hafeezah, I got to start with you. I want to bring you in immediately because your company is so interesting and much needed, especially at this time. But the majority of Black female founders, they have a very hard time raising any money at all, from friends and family to venture capital, even more on the institutional capital side. So I'd love for you to share with everyone about your path to becoming a highly investable company, along with the unique space that Backpack Healthcare operates in.
Thank you so much for inviting us today. I'm so happy to be here. So Backpack Healthcare, I want to first start where we started. In October of 2020, my son, who was 6 at the time, came to me and told me that he wanted to kill himself. My heart broke. I didn't see it coming. As I tried to find care for him, I couldn't find care because of a disability. He was on Medicaid. And as I kept deep diving, I was an executive for a national mental health company. I started looking at the data and I saw there were so many kids like my son who needed access to high quality care and we couldn't find it. And I felt that that's a pain that I was going through that I didn't want anyone to endure. I wanted to find self-care support because it was very embarrassing. And when I couldn't find that, I left and I started Backpack Healthcare. So we are a pediatric and family mental health company. My son is doing well right now. I want to tell you that the foundation of starting a company that was really focused on how to provide equitable care for my lived experience was really what drove me. Because we focus on children on Medicaid, it was really hard to navigate the funding early on because it's a space that most people have not invested in or have seen a successful exit. So early on, we really had to focus on patient acquisition. How do we disprove that you can grow a business in Medicaid, you can be profitable in Medicaid, because it's more than half of the kids in the US are on Medicaid. So how could we not provide a solution for the majority of the children? And as time went by, we really focused on outcomes, ensuring that what we were delivering had outcomes. So that was great data points. Measuring our KPIs, how are we performing against our competitors, the industry standards to set the correct pathway for future growth. And as time went by and us being consistent in delivering financial results, 100% plus year-over-year growth, it made us more attractive in a space that's a white space for us to be investable.
Thanks, Hafeezah. I actually didn't even know that particular background about your son in terms of why you decided to start the app. And it's very important. I love that you brought up the fact that you're focusing on Medicaid and that part of the acquisition, because most people don't know that more than one third of the country, and this is not just children, are on Medicaid. So this is a huge issue and a huge void in the market that you are filling. And so I'm sorry that you had to, it was born out of, a very trying, stressful situation, but I'm sure the amount of people that you've been able to help through your platform has been super duper amazing. So just thank you for doing that. And Khadijah, of course, which is actually how we got connected, one of your investors early on, and now she's moving on to doing her own fund so that she can invest, even more money and resources into people who look like us and are from our community. But Khadijah, when I think about investors more broadly, specifically in the venture capital space, they typically tend to invest, as I'm sure you're aware, in people who look like them or that are from their community. And specifically, I just want to share this information with our audience that 70% of venture capitalists are white, 26% are Asian, and less than 3% of them are Black. So I'd love to hear from you on why prioritizing underrepresented founders for fictive ventures through this kind of friends and family approach creates an untapped market opportunity for your fund.
Yes. So one, thank you for having me, Corey. I really appreciate the time and space, and I'm so happy that Hafeezah, who is one of my portfolio founders, could join. So she is the reason that she's the perfect embodiment of why this is important and why we need this work. Because, as you mentioned, not only are Black people and Black women in particular underrepresented when it comes to investors and the venture capital space, we're also heavily underrepresented with respect to the amount of funding that women, Black women, and Black entrepreneurs receive as founders in this space. And that leads to a lack of innovation, honestly. We see that companies that are founded by people that look like us and funded and given the resources in this space go on to do well, go on to do amazing and innovative things. They impact our community. They do what the backpack healthcares do for children. They do what Calendly does for people all across the world when it just comes to making your life easier with scheduling. They do what companies like Azuzu, which is founded by a friend of mine, Wimimo Abbey, do for folks in this country who have traditionally not had a way to build credit through their renting. And that's never been a real option for people previously. And it's something that that platform is providing an innovative solution for. And it's now a $1 billion company. It's now a unicorn. But it started with an idea, as backpack care, healthcare started with an idea from someone who would traditionally be considered underrepresented or a minority, and started with a communal focus and concept that may have previously been less of a focus for a lot of venture capital. They view that as social entrepreneurship that seems less impactful when you're thinking about something through the lens of capitalism and when you're thinking about your returns. But these innovative concepts do generate returns. They not only have an impact on our world that's positive in our community, but they change things for the people that they serve. They change things for the investors and for the founders that are leading those initiatives, and they generate returns. I want to, with fictive ventures, illustrate that what we are doing is not charity. What we're doing is we are giving backing, we're giving resources and support to really innovative founders who deserve that and who can then take it and run with it to create innovative concepts that change our lives.
And I just wanted to dig in a little bit deeper on fictive ventures because I alluded to it a bit in the question, but the approach that you guys are taking with your fund is very unique that you don't necessarily see a lot of venture funds doing. And I was just hoping you could share a little bit more about, your approach to investing.
Yeah, so my partner Brom Rhodes is the one who originally conceptualized the idea behind fictive ventures, but we are focusing on idea plus stage up to seed stage companies, investing in Black-led companies at that early stage where we so rarely get funding. And we've drawn our name from the concept of fictive kinship, which in the Black community you see a lot as people kind of say, "Oh, that's my auntie," or "That's my cousin," when really that's a family friend that they're very close with, or someone that they grew up with and have known for a long time. And it's because of the way that we see one another as a community, the way that we create what are called these fictitious kinship ties amongst one another as a community. And so, because fictive is coming in at that very early stage, where other founders and the majority may have family and friends that they're fundraising from, a lot of Black founders don't have access to a family and friends network with the resources to support them with capital at that stage. And so in comes fictive ventures as your fictive family and friends in that stage, hoping to really stimulate that innovation that I spoke about with Black founders who are completely locked out of funding at that very early stage, at that pre revenue, at that pre product stage. And our hope, our goal is with the fund to bring to bear, bring to the market concepts and ideas like backpack healthcare that can not only change the trajectory of the company and the founder behind it, but our community. And we're doing that with a group of Black LPs coming into our community who will additionally lend their support, their network, and their resources to the founders that we support so that we're really creating what I like to think of as a new ecosystem of innovation and of wealth generation in our own community.
I love that. I cannot wait to see just how successful this particular fund is going to become because you're absolutely right. We need investment and support at the earliest stages, and not when we've already pretty much, kind of figured it out and we got the ball rolling. Like, yeah, well, that's easy to invest in, but at that point, we don't necessarily need your money because we figured out how to become $100 million company. So, yes, I love that you're doing that. Hafeezah, I'm going to bring it back to you really quickly so that we can just kind of level set and talk about the broader mental health market, which is projected to reach nearly $39 billion. That's by the end of this year, according to research firm Statista. I'd love to know from you, what role, though, do you think cultural currency plays for backpack healthcare when it comes to making mental health management more inclusive?
So when you think about the growth trajectory and the skill and the dollar associated with the mental health crisis, one thing we have to talk about why cultural currency is really critical. For the first time in history, more than 50% of the children in the US are BIPOC or from multicultural households. Most people don't even know that that demographic has changed so that we're now the new majority within the United States. And if we don't have cultural currency, invest in solutions that's going to bring cultural intentionality, we're going to exclude a generation that has the largest trajectory of making future change within the country. And this is why it's really critical for us to ensure that we're having cultural currency. And I want to piggyback after a comment that Khadijah made about social impact. I will tell you that hopefully I don't offend anyone. It's a trigger word for me because when people use the word cultural impact, it comes across as if we're trying to build a nonprofit. The better word is altruistic capitalism, because we started business because we want to be able to drive a profit, to make impact and make difference, but to ensure that we build profitable companies. And those are something I wanted to touch base on in the correlation and ensure that, we have, the currency needed, but the demographics and how the nation is changing and has changed so that we can be able to have good returns and help the kids that has historically been underfunded and underserved.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love that. And I'm glad you brought up that point specifically about not being the minority as has been historically what the definition has been given to our group, but that we are the majority, especially as it relates to all BIPOC people across the country. All right, Khadijah, I'm going to bring it back to you because I know that you have been an investor, obviously doing angel investing. Now you have your fund, but you also know what it's like to be on the side of where Hafeezah is right now, entrepreneurship and going out and trying to raise money, trying to get support for your organization. So when you think about the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem, is an inclusive investing strategy and building up diverse-led startups something that's a major key to success?
I think it's absolutely necessary. I think that we are, as Hafisa said, we're looking at a new country. This country does not look how it looked 50 years ago. We have people who are trying to keep us where the country was 50 years ago, unfortunately. And what they will find is that they will be left behind. We're going to move around them if necessary. And so people who are still hearkening back to a United States that no longer exists are going to lose, not just with respect to the cultural landscape, but in business. If you are ignoring the new majority, you are going to lose in business. It is something that I think is completely untenable as we look into the future, both for general entrepreneurship and particularly when you're talking about the startup landscape and the venture capital landscape. So I feel bad for people who are not paying attention to this segment, honestly. Like folks who are not looking at the founders that I'm looking at, I feel bad for them because they are automatically locking themselves out of this innovation economy that's going to leave them behind. And I hate that for them, but I'll take it. I'll,
Right.
I'll pick up the slack.
Their mindset is perhaps blocking their blessing of investment and generating more wealth for them because they want to kind of move around with blinders on. So I completely agree with you. All right, ladies, I'm going to wrap it up with this final question. And I'm going to put it out to both of you. So feel free, whoever wants to jump in first, because it's not gloom and doom. Obviously, we have great funds like Fictive Ventures. We have great companies like Backpack Healthcare. So we are seeing, right, the needle moves slightly when it comes to shifting the paradigm on funding cultural currency. What else do you guys think we're getting right that makes you both extremely optimistic about this space? Who wants to take it?
What makes me optimistic is having organizations like yours that is not afraid to push the message forward, and having investors like Khadijah who understand that back funders early and often will help us be able to change of what the idea of what people see as successful founders. And if we start now, it will help improve over time because we'll see more successful exits from founders. And that's the one thing I'm excited about and look forward to seeing like how this evolve and what changes I am seeing that would make me more excited about the future.
Yeah,
What
I,
about you,
I
Khadijah?
will follow on that. And I will say, although fundraising is hard, and as an emerging fund manager and general partner, and this is my first rodeo with respect to raising a fund on the investor side. And it's difficult, but it also, I think, is inspirational and it gives me hope because every time that somebody says yes to me, every time that we lock in a new limited partner coming into our fund who believes in the vision, who believes in the founders that we want to back, and believes in this fictive community, that to me is a reiteration of what I just spoke about. The fact that we are going to push forward, we are continuing to make things shake, rattle, and roll with backing founders who look like us. And that is not going to stop. It's not going to stop based on the place that people want to take us back to that we refuse to go back to. It's not going to stop based on the dip in funding for Black founders, and particularly for Black women founders. It's not going to stop based on the wide scale attacks on DEI. There is nothing that the folks who would like to halt progress can do to actually keep us from coming together as a community and supporting the founders who need that support, who have the innovative concepts, and who look like us. So that gives me hope. It gives me a lot of hope, actually.
Yeah, well, we need that hope, and we need to carry through 2025 and onward, because there's so much work to be done left across the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So I just want to thank you guys for even having this conversation and sharing these insights. And before I let you go, one more quick thing, because we want to make sure that our audience, the people watching this, they get to know you a little bit better on a more personal level. So I'd like to go into what we call our rapid fire questions. And basically, I'm just going to ask you a question. You just have to answer whatever the first thing is that comes off the top of your mind. Maybe it's a one-word answer. Maybe it's a one-sentence answer. Well, we're going to move through it really, really quickly. Is that cool with you guys?
Let's do
Yes.
it.
All right, Khadijah, we're going to start with you. Your rapid fire question: what motivates you to keep going and why?
My niece, my 16-month-old niece, who absolutely looks at the world with big bright eyes, and I want to make sure that she continues to maintain that hope, that the world that she sees that's interesting and fun that she's discovering is a world that does not beat her down as a Black woman as she grows.
Okay, I love that. Hafeezah,
Yeah.
your question: what are 3 skills people need to be a successful entrepreneur?
Resilience, gratitude, and not being afraid to remove anonymity from your life.
Oh, I love that. Not being afraid to remove anonymity. Okay. Khadijah, back to you. What time of day are you most productive?
I am most productive as soon as I wake up, which is probably not the best thing, but the moment I wake up, sometime between 7 and 8, I get a lot of things done. And then it's all downhill from there. I don't know why.
The day just gets away from you. I get it. All right, Hafeezah, what's your favorite life hack?
One life hack I would like to say is being kind to everyone, because the universe will be kind to you.
Oh, that's very positive and like uplifting. I love that. All right,
Yeah.
Khadijah, what is the one app you can't live without?
Say the backpack app. You better say backpack app. Backpack care companion, Khadijah. But okay, I'll let you answer something else.
That's a given. That's a given. That's a given for all the kids in my life. I am
Right.
not a mother, but for all the kids in my life. Outside of backpack, I got an Aura ring recently,
Oh,
and the Aura app is a game changer. Just
What?
everything. I now know how stressed I am, how well I've slept, all the things. I need to
do you
be
have
doing
the ring
better.
on now?
I have it on. This is the Aura ring,
Oh.
and it's the best. I need to be
Wow.
doing better in all my categories, more sleep, less stress, all the things, but at least now I know.
Yes, and that look, you can't change what you don't know or acknowledge. So there we go. I mean, Hafeezah was always saying this is pretty much how she created this company. She didn't even know her son was struggling to that extent, and look what came out. So look, we can't change what we don't know. So the Aura app. Okay, interesting. Hafeezah, what is the one book that changed your life? And let me just preface this. Every time I ask this question, all you very smart, well-read people are like, just one? And I'm like, just one for the people.
A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor
Interesting.
Frankl.
I have not read this book.
I know.
Yeah.
Let me take a note, put that in my
Right.
cart to buy.
Okay, wait, say the name of the book one more time.
A Man's Search for Meaning,
Man's Search for Meaning by
Frankl.
Viktor Frankl. Okay. I'm gonna have to write that down. All right, this is our final rapid fire question. This is for both of you. What song is currently on repeat on your playlist? Khadijah, what song?
Okay, I love country. I love hip hop. I don't usually have a favorite rapper, but my current favorite rapper, because I just feel like he is untouchable right now, is Big X the Plug. And I love country. So I really like Shabuzi. So they have a song together, Drink Don't Need No Mix, and I play that at least once a day.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to
Okay.
that as soon as we're done here. Drink Don't Need No Mix. Hafeezah, what song are you listening to?
So there's two songs I gotta
Okay.
add. So Tupac, Hit 'Em Up.
Oldie but goodie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then All I Do Is Win.
Oh,
Two-
okay. I love that. But the Tupac that took me for
I
not
know, right?
Tupac in general, but just
You
that
gotta get
particular Tupac
excited
song.
and just be tough and like know that you have to get ready for the day because there's everything coming against you. You just have to fight back.
Right, about to say, because that Tupac song is like a very aggressive, like Tupac track. It's not like Dear
Yeah.
Mama.
Yeah, see, so kind of little insight of the grind inside that you need to
Right.
be
I
an
like that.
entrepreneur.
This is what I'm saying. We're getting an inside look at like this is really like what she's thinking, like the level that she's operating on. She's like going
Oh,
hard in the paint. She got
hard in the paint, yes, for sure. Inside, internally.
I love that. Well, just thank you guys for being open enough to share some of these personal things about yourselves. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to say to our Culture Banks audience, we will always be back bringing you more investors, more founders that really are a great representation of our culture, community, and the broader ecosystem. So thanks so much for joining us. Stay tuned to Culture Banks for our next session. Have a great day.